Great to see you, buddy. Eating breakfast. Uh, Hi, Dennis. Thank you for joining us. And David, good to see you. Both David Wicks and Dave Schmidt. Wow. I see Dave Schmidt's on the Mill Creek, right? You're on mute there, buddy. All right. And Lynn Fuller, it's always good to have you. Thank you. And Bob,
Brewster,
good to see you,
Brewster,
buddy.
we were celebrating our favorite son, Ulysses S. Grant's birthday this weekend in Georgetown, but of course he's only got one birthplace, and that's Point Pleasant, which is a suburb of New Richmond, as you well know. So
Well, that's great, buddy. Good.
big party up there on Sunday.
Nice, nice. Okay, great. Lester, good to see you, buddy. And Francis, we'll be hearing more from you. John Nation, the best photographer east of the Mississippi. Hey, Dan Cal, good to see you, buddy. All right. Nia, thank you for joining us on our board. Wonderful to see you with the Division of Water for the state of Kentucky. And we'll get going in just a quick second. But Andrea, thank you. Felicia. All right. Haley, wow, we had a great crowd here. So anyway, as usual, folks, if you could, and I'll repeat this again, of course, when more people jump on, but if you could put your name and organizational affiliation in the chat, that'd be great. All right, so people will know who is in the house. Richard Hunt, good to see you, buddy. Katie Kelsey, I'm sorry. Craig, good to have you with us. Sally, wow.
Yeah, it's great to
We got
see
a
so many
great,
folks on.
great crowd here. So, folks, please put your name and organization affiliation in the chat. We have a very busy agenda here. We'll get a lot done, I'm sure. Eric, thank you. Matt, good to see you, buddy. Wow. Yeah, look at all these people coming in. We got the Cincinnati Nature Center in the house. That's great. Just wonderful. All right, folks. Hey, Mark. Good to see you, Mark Allen. ODNR, always good to have you. Mr. Trails. Well, people keep coming in. This is great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, folks. And anyway, if you all could, as you get on board here, put your name and organizational affiliation in the chat. Again, that's a way for folks to know who is with us and how broad and representative the group is. And we have Richard Hunt, as I mentioned, from Lewis and Clark Trail Alliance, and Richard's out there in Kansas City. So we got people all over. It's great. And we'll give it one
Awesome.
more minute and one more minute, and then we'll go into the agenda here for us, if that's okay. But we just like
Absolutely.
everybody put their name and organization affiliation in the chat. It was, yeah, I saw Matt last night. Good to see you. All right.
Where are you guys?
Hey, Doug. Good to see you. The OEC is in the house.
That's right. Always good to see you, Brewster.
All right. Margaret, wow, we got great turnout here today. Falls the Ohio Foundation is always good to see you all. And Sherry and Sophie on our team. Just great. So we'll remind people, again, but please put your name and organizational affiliation in the chat so folks will know who's here. And Brad, it was good to see you last night. So why don't we jump in here? 1.5, 2 minutes late. And Larry, wow, it's great to see you with the Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail. It's wonderful to see you. Okay, so let's turn it over to Forrest. I just appreciate everybody joining us. We have a great crowd, a lot to do, and let's jump in. So Forrest, take it over, our
Perfect.
executive director.
Well, thank you so much, Brewster. It is wonderful to see all of you all and to have such a great turnout for our second coalition meeting of the year. We sent out an agenda in our email, and that is what we will be following along today. So in the beginning, we have some updates from the Ohio River Way, as well as excitingly 3 partners who are working with us on some awesome projects that'll introduce those, including a new documentary. And then we will get on to a presentation from Francis Kern-Manone with FVT Gibbons on some upcoming funding opportunities for namely trail projects in our communities. Then we would love to hear from you all in roughly the last 20 minutes of the conversation on whatever updates you have from your communities. What events are happening? What exciting projects are going on? What questions, comments, concerns do you have to share with everybody? Then after our conversation ends, the Ohio River Boys staff will stick on for more or less however long you'd like to talk through any other questions. So perfect. Before we dive into the agenda, we have an introduction. So this February, the Ohio Riverway's full-time staff doubled when we hired Molly Pope as our deputy director. Molly has worked for a partner organization of ours. She was the manager of the Thomas More University Ohio River Biology Field Station, where she did everything from raising hellbenders, managing on-site summer interns, and organizing one of the Ohio River Basin Days on the Hill. She's been doing an incredible job these last few months, but this is her first coalition meeting. So Molly, if you'd like to say hi and introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Forrest, for the warm introduction, and thank you to all of our communities and partners who have also offered such a warm welcome to the Ohio Riverway. I'm really excited to be bringing my background in water quality, biology, operations, events to the Ohio Riverway. And it's been a great and a busy few months so far, so happy to meet all of you that I've not had the chance to meet yet. Thank you.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Molly. To dive into our agenda, top of the list is that our annual challenge is coming up very shortly. So this May 10th to June 1st, myself, Molly, and about 30 volunteers will be floating down the river from Huntington, West Virginia to Evansville, Indiana. This is the 6th year we have done this in partnership with River City Paddle Sports, and it has grown. So this is 488 miles. First year it was Cincinnati to Louisville, and it has grown from there. We're very excited to be welcoming an additional canoe from Paddle Perry to be joining us, and some partners from the National Park Service along the way. This is the first year we will do this journey since the National Water Trail designation. Today's the last day for sponsorships. If anyone would like to become a sponsor, we are so grateful to all of our supporters so far. So let me go ahead and pop that up on the screen just to thank some folks. This year, the expedition's taken a different model. We have set it up as a peer-to-peer fundraising event to help support our work. In terms of our partners, River City Paddle Sports and Paddle Perry are providing these canoes. The National Park Service is sending a filmmaker who you'll hear from shortly. And we are so grateful to everyone here that has contributed. So along the way, we will have a demonstration from Orsenko, a demonstration from USGS at one of their super gauges. And we are so grateful to everyone that is hosting us. It's going to be a great journey. If you are interested in seeing us along the way, shoot us an email at challenge@ohioriverway.org, and we will try to work something out with you. So we are glad to welcome press and elected officials to paddle with us. In particular, I'll note that we expect to have press events in Ashland around 9 a.m. on Monday, May 11th, and Ironton around 10 a.m. shortly thereafter. And then again in Cincinnati at roughly 9 a.m., really Covington, on Monday, May 18th. So we'll be sending out more details on that. But again, thank you to everyone that is making that possible. In addition, our floating lab has really grown this year. Molly, if you'd like to talk about that a bit.
Sure. So some of you may remember the lab from last year. It was made possible by the donation of use of one of our volunteers' houseboats for the entire challenge. Along the way, students and paddlers conducted biodiversity research on the Ohio River Islands, a bit of water quality as well. So this year, we're bringing it back and developing it into a formal internship program. So this summer, we have 10 students, mostly regional, but one from England as well, joining us to conduct research on the challenge. They will be full challenge participants, camping along the way, getting to know our community partners, as well. But in addition, they'll be leading the participatory science initiatives on the challenge, including those Ohio River Island plant biodiversity assessments, water quality demonstrations, working with the Kentucky Watershed Watch, and then collaborating with Kentucky Waterways Alliance to document litter and tire pollution along the main stem of the river. And then in addition to that, each student or pair of students will be developing an independent project on a topic of their own choosing. So we have a wide range of students signed up to participate in the internship, everything from history majors, social science, environmental science, and biology. So students are developing research on, they're hoping to get oral histories of Rivertown residents on perceptions of the river, experiences with flooding. Students are doing fish habitat quality assessments. Other students are looking into sources of sedimentation in the tributaries of the Ohio River, as we know that's a common challenge facing our communities. So we hope along the way, as we get to meet with many of you, you'll get to meet the students as well and hear more about the projects that they're developing. But we're really excited to have such great student participation in the challenge this year.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Molly. And here is our route for this year. So we have an expanded map, Huntington all the way down to Evansville. If you are on this map, we will be passing your community and we would love to say hi. So perfect. Thank you so much, Molly. All right. To keep plugging along, next item on our agenda is some recreational planning projects that we've been working on. I'm just going to plug through these real quickly. First, there is an ongoing recreational gap analysis being done by the Army Corps of Engineers Huntington District that is identifying priority projects for funding, specifically in Bracken, Mason, Lewis, Greenup, and Boyd counties, Kentucky. This is building on a recreational gap analysis done several years back by USACE Louisville. This is being done on behalf of the CORA, the Kentucky Ohio River Regional Recreation Authority, as well as the Ohio River Way. Today, they are doing site visits in Bracken and Lewis County. So we are very excited for what this looks like. We expect in September to have a draft report and to be doing public engagement sessions on the ground in those counties in the spring. We are hoping that this is something we can repeat in other stretches of the river as well, using the model they developed here. Perfect. And again, that's $197,000 value of what they're doing. For our next update on recreational planning, I'm very excited to introduce Sally Sharrow with Tool Design. So as we shared, we were awarded, the Ohio Riverway was awarded $275,000 in planning funds for bikeway planning for connectivity and safety along US 52, 182 miles between North Bend, really Ohio's border with Indiana, all the way to Chesapeake, which is directly across from Huntington, West Virginia. We went through competitive procurement and chose a bid from Tool Design, submitted in partnership with Human Nature and Tri-State Trails. So Sally, if you would like to say hi, and if there's anything you'd like to add on this project, please do so.
Thanks, Forrest. Yeah, we're really excited to be getting going on this project. Currently, finalizing our scope so we can get started as soon as possible to look at safety of biking along the route. And Tool Design is a firm that specializes in active transportation and trail planning. I'm based in Columbus, but grew up in Cincinnati, so very excited to be thinking about stuff along the Ohio River. And like Forrest said, we'll be partnering with Human Nature and Tri-State Trails, who also have lots of great background and expertise in thinking about trails in the region. So very excited to be with you all and getting started on this project in the next few weeks.
Awesome. Well, Sally, we are so excited. And we are excited for our communities to be working with you all in that geography on this project. Very, very excited for it. So thanks for joining today. Awesome. For our next project, Molly, would you like to briefly share a bit about the OSI grant and the planning there, and that we're hiring?
Sure. So the Ohio River Way was awarded a land conservation planning grant through the Open Spaces Institute. So we will be working on land conservation planning in the Ohio River corridor along 71 miles of the river in Appalachia. So on both sides of the Ohio River. And we are currently hiring an intern to help on that project. So they will utilize GIS data sets on flooding, biodiversity, recreational access gaps to help develop a land conservation plan for that portion. So of course, that's just a small portion of our geography, but we're really excited to be starting on that project. So we will hire an intern. They can start as soon as June or July of 2026, and the position and hours can be flexible to work around academic and professional requirements, but that position can last up to a year long. It's a paid position, and the full job description and instructions to apply are found in the coalition agenda, and we can add that to the chat right now as well. But please share with your networks. It's a great opportunity for a student looking for experience in land conservation planning.
Okay. We are very excited, and thank you for offering that update, Molly. If you know any student you think might be interested, send it their way. All right. Last update on secured funding. The Kentucky General Assembly is appropriated $200,000, $100,000 annually for the Kentucky Ohio River Regional Recreation Authority. We're deeply grateful to all of our partners here that helped make that happen. The Ohio Riverway led with that request. It is less than we requested, but we think it is a great starting point for this authority, and it is specifically for capital and planning. How that money will get spent is obviously up to Cora's board. So we are just excited that it's been appropriated. A few more things that are in the pipeline but not secured. So the Ohio Riverway submitted an application in partnership with the Cincinnati Off-Road Alliance to AmeriCorps National Direct to create a new service corps, the Ohio River Corps, that would be building natural surface trails in our communities. We requested 25 service members as a starting point. I have no idea how competitive we are, but we submitted it. We are also planning a backup application to specifically in Ohio. So that first application was multi-state. This next one is just a planning grant in Ohio to start smaller and do a year of planning before submitting another application. So something on our radar. Also very excited to share that we submitted a pre-application to ARC Arise and that we were selected to submit a full application by the end of May. This is a $500,000 ask. It would include bikeway planning in Kentucky, modeled after what we're doing in Ohio, specifically in ARC counties. So that's Lewis, Grainup, and Boyd. We're doing a lot in Appalachia right now. In Ohio, it would replicate the recreational gap analysis, identifying priority projects for funding and creating some standards for, design standards for what we want our projects to look like to have a cohesive feel throughout the region. And our first potential major funding for our tourism efforts, there'd be a roughly $100,000 study on how to brand and market the Ohio River as a regional destination. So we're very excited to be submitting that at the end of May. If you're in that region, we will be in touch with you for letters of support. So very, very excited to be getting in that application. Two more things. One that was not on the agenda but should have been. The Ohio Riverway was a partner on an application led by the Cincinnati Off-Road Alliance that asked pre-application. So Jason Reeser, I believe you're on, if you could offer a quick update there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for your time. So yeah, we kind of created this High Bank Ohio Riverway project as part of the Northern Kentucky Regional Trail Plan that we've been working together with Tri-State Trails on and the One NQI Alliance. And we had, some opportunity to maybe begin some implementation. So what it is looking at undevelopable hillsides just outside of the urban core. So on upstream side or the eastern side across Fort Thomas to Dayton, Kentucky, on uphill side of Route 8. And then on the downhill side, basically from Bromley, Kentucky, just outside of Ludlow. I see you, Mrs. Mayor. Thank you for being here. So from there through Villa Hills to the Anderson Ferry and also to the new Eons Park. So this would be kind of a part that it's very difficult to do it with a paved trail, but we see building a gravel or natural surface trail there where that hillside keeps shifting. That would be much easier to repair when it does shift. So we've been working with Cora with a K and 3 R's, like Forrest just said, to create different concepts and different grants applications to AmeriCorps to try to stand up crews that our professional trail crew can help teach the skills, and we can bring in a few others like Ohio Forestry to help teach arbor skills and different really employable skills. We're working with Life Learning Center. So one of the cool ideas is to not just build these trails, but also in that time bring new skills, new employable skills to people and give them a leg up. So we're really excited to be working on this. We are also a finalist now on the Horizon Community Funds Community Impact Grant. So hopefully that'll come through. We have a lot of things out there. So we're really excited about this opportunity to create more connections and get part of the Ohio River Way done.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jason. We are very excited about that. Awesome. Last update on funding. I see Jordan Lebetkin is on. There have been all sorts of gains with the Ohio River Restoration Program Act in Congress. Jordan, could you offer a quick refresher on what that bill would do and the latest updates in the last few months?
Yeah, thanks, Forrest. So as folks recall, one of our main goals is to get Ohio River Restoration and Protection funded, similar to other geographic programs like the Great Lakes, the Chesapeake, the Gulf. The federal government invests millions every year. We like to see that those investments come our way as well. And where we currently are, it's quite exciting. We have two bipartisan bills. I think most folks are familiar with the House bill with Mr. McGarvey in Louisville, the Democrat co-sponsor, and Aaron Houchin, the Republican co-sponsor. They're the two caucus co-chairs for the Ohio River Congressional Caucus. Then in February, the Senate also introduced companion legislation, which is almost identical. They made a few tweaks, and those co-sponsors, Senator Todd Young, Republican, Indiana, and John Fetterman, Democrat in Pennsylvania, are the two bipartisan co-sponsors. Those two bills are gaining attention. The House bill has 14 co-sponsors, 7 Democrats, 7 Republicans. It's remaining really strong bipartisan support. We hope to achieve the same level of collaboration in the Senate as well. So a lot of good things happening, momentum building. I will just say editorially, there's a lot going on in Congress and the world these days. It's a pretty volatile sort of environment we're in. However, I do think that quietly there's really some nice cooperation happening on these bills. Are they going to pass this year? Don't know. It's still a little bit of a promise, or sort of like not promise, but it's a little bit of a high bar to clear. And I know in talking with other folks around the Great Lakes and the Chesapeake, it took them years to get it done. And I think, I will say humbly, the community like you all, the Healthy Waters Coalition, a lot of folks have helped make this a real visible priority. And so whether or not it happens this year, we're really setting a strong foundation for success in 2027 or 2028. So good things happening. I will just end really quickly. The Ohio River Basin Alliance. There may be some folks on this call through that organization, but they host a sort of hill gathering. They're doing a smaller gathering this year, a more focused gathering to really get some Senate offices on board. I'll have more to report after May 12th and 13th, which I know overlaps with your awesome paddle tour. But just good things happening, and we'd like to keep the momentum going. And I'll just say there'll probably be opportunities for this group to engage when some of the dust settles from a little bit of a turbulent spring. So thanks, Forrest, for the quick update.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jordan. I mean, it's such exciting work. If you're curious, I've just shared the House bill list of co-sponsors. So it was led by Congressman Garvey and Congresswoman Houchin. Here are all the others. So if you do not see your representative there, there's an opportunity. On the Senate side, it is just Senator Young from Indiana and Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania. Awesome. So I know we just zoomed through a lot. Before we get into the next item, are there any questions on any of those opportunities we just discussed? Okay. Perfect. Well, let's keep plugging. Gonna hand it off to some guests right now, Ian Vorster and Evelyn Moreno. So on the challenge this year, we are honored that the National Park Service is sending a documentary filmmaker, Ian, to come see what we're doing and to celebrate the designation as National Water Trail. So Ian and Evelyn, I'll hand it off to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Forrest. And we'll just do a quick round of introductions and we'll talk a little bit about the videos. So my name is Evelyn Moreno and I do communications for the National Park Service Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance Program. We're a program that works with communities across the country on outdoor recreation and conservation projects. And we're really excited to be working with the Ohio Riverway right now to tell this incredible story through videos. And before I jump into more about the videos, Ian, could you please share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I've got a long history going back to South Africa in environmental and outdoor recreation communications, filmmaking, writing, editor, you name it. I've been with the National Park Service as an experienced worker. This week, I believe, will be my 4th year. And I'm just so looking forward to capturing the story of what it took to designate this trail as a national water trail, primarily through the lens of capturing the sense of place for each of the river towns.
Yeah, thank you, Ian. Yeah, so as Ian mentioned, we want to highlight how this river is not just an industrial corridor, but also a recreational asset and how it helps increase economic development for communities along the river. We want to talk about how this happened, and talk about the partnership between the National Park Service, Ohio Riverway, and all the communities along the river. We want to feature kind of like a timeline of events, talking from the Rivertown review process, which the National Park Service helped lead, and how we got to this National Water Trail designation with all this great support. And also highlight through all of that, the shift in perspective that is still happening, how people used to turn away from the river, but how they're now embracing it and how it's still a work in process, that a lot of champions like yourselves are doing through education. And we're just so excited. We were in Cincinnati and visited a couple river towns in Indiana and Kentucky. And Ohio, just a couple of weeks ago, we conducted 8 great interviews, and we're just so excited that Ian will be able to go on the challenge now to continue conducting interviews, capturing great footage, and just really understanding and getting that sense of place, as he mentioned, but also the excitement that communities and people feel towards the river. So that's just a little bit about the video. We want to do 2 videos, one that's a little bit longer to feature in film festivals, such as the Environmental Film Festival and also some local film festivals. Perhaps some river towns have some film festivals that we've heard of. And then we also want to do a shorter one, that's about 10 to 15 minutes long. Right now, our challenge is bringing all this great information and condensing it into something that could be so short. So we're excited to have leeway with the longer one that could be considered more of a documentary style film that tells kind of that history and brings in all these incredible partners. So yeah, that's just a little bit about us. I'll put the link to our website in the chat, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out, and we're just so honored to be a part of this.
See. Well, thank you so much, Evelyn and Ian. We are incredibly excited to have you all join us this year. I do not envy your task of turning 4 weeks of filming into a single 15 or 45-minute video. The one last thing I'd add on that is we are hopeful to submit this to PBS stations throughout the basin as well. So we really would like this to have a wide distribution. So very excited. Thank you all so much for making this possible. All right. I have another guest. I'm excited to welcome Ryan Abrahamson. To offer a little context here, the Ohio Riverway has long had an interactive map developed by the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governments, which has been absolutely incredible. We were pleasantly surprised that Terrain 360, partner of the Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail, offered to come in and help us update that work pro bono. So Ryan has done an absolutely incredible job with paddletheohio.com. It is still getting tweaked and updated bit by bit, but we've been going through rounds of feedback and we wanted to go ahead and share it with you all because very excited about it. And there are some opportunities to continue this work. So there's 360 mapping that's incorporated in it. Specifically on the Kentucky side, we would love to see this happen in Indiana and Ohio as well. Ryan can explain better than I can, but I believe he's got 15,000 committed for a lower stretch of the Ohio that has not been mapped. Then he's looking for a match to make that possible. But in case, Ryan, let me turn it over to you to walk through this map and what exactly this is all about.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. That's okay, real quick.
Perfect.
So part of the backstory here is we spent, I'd say, the last 4 years creating like Google Street View essentially for the Ohio River, and it includes all the access sites, the actual water itself, like virtual paddling essentially. And one of the challenges is, hey, how do we showcase this information and make it relevant and make it exciting? And so part of it was coming up with my thought was, hey, what if we combine a ton of data layers and map layers, including the 360 imagery, including things like property lines. What are the requests, right? Where are the private property lines? Where are the bike routes? What mile marker is this section of the Ohio River? Shipping channels. And so we created this very interactive map tool. And there's a lot going on here, and we're still working on it to Forest Point. And we have a little feedback tool here. If someone finds something wrong, you can let us know. But you can zoom in on any section of the Ohio River and see several things. One, you can see a 360 virtual experience of the section of river. This is an example of that. And we spent, we still have a lot to do as far as this is concerned. It's a mapping. But we also include all the public access sites. So where can I put my canoe in? Where can I put my boat in on the Ohio River? We include all the USGS data, right? And so is it flooded? Is it not flooded? What are the water levels? We include weather. And one of the, like if you wanted to know, can I camp here? For example, here's where the property lines are located. We also have AIS, data. Where are the ships right now live? And we're still kind of tweaking that component, but we also include things like all the restaurants. We include hip camp, so if you want to learn where to camp or to stay along the river. We're including RV parks and lodging, and we have this really great filter tool on the left side here that allows you to come in here and kind of build your own adventure essentially. And one of the big parts of this is, hey, how can we make it relevant to people? Like, hey, what if I want to paddle, for example? How long would it take me to get to between 2 points? And so we added a plan a paddle feature that allows you to, I took the 13 paddle sections that the Ohio Riverway has put together and included that. Plus, you can also build your own. So you can pick up 2 access sites, start and end. It'll tell you how long it takes to get between the two, based on wind and weather conditions, whether there are dams or any issues there, how long it'll take you to paddle, for example. In this particular case is Ashland to Portsmouth. 32 miles, roughly 2 days. It's challenging. There's wind going on here. And it also tells you what's the best day to do this. Today, sunny, beautiful. And it uses some AI to kind of analyze the conditions the next couple of days. Like, what's the best time to go? It is beautiful out. I'm in Virginia, and it's blue sky and awesome. And then it allows you to also download this custom section that you built, which includes places to stay, which includes where I can eat. Where is the dam located, the information to the harbor master dam, and then of course, link to the Ohio Riverways paddling guide. So part of this was really to how do we incorporate all this great data that's out there, including the 360-degree imagery, which to Forest Point is currently mostly on the Kentucky side of the water. We're looking to figure out how to do the river right. The Ohio side, Indiana side. But anyway, yeah, I think part of this is my passion. I love doing these kind of maps. This can be duplicated to other river systems across the country. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but I just wanted to share this because I think it's really exciting.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It's absolutely incredible. I've just been shocked at what you've been able to pull together so quickly and all the great ideas that you've had as part of this. folks, please do let us know what feedback you have as part of this. I know there are some things we need to update with information on some of the points in our prior map where a lot of the data was pulled for some of these points. It was already out of date. So there's some manual work that we need to do to go and update that. Just as an interesting tidbit, Brian, after you did this, I was going through some historical documents. We have here's a strategic planning document from the Ohio River Way from 2005. So our 2005 action strategies. And one of them was a virtual tour designed for website installation, a map-based immersive multimedia three-dimensional geographic overview of the river corridor. So we can't say the Ohio River Way doesn't deliver. It just might take us 2 decades.
That's all right. That's great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. Awesome. Last 2 things before I hand it over to Francis. Ad sales are open. So we are working on our next travel guide. If you're curious what the last one looked like, I will pop a link in the chat. These are intended to last 2 years. So our 2025-26 one, we printed 80,000 copies. Roughly 60,000 of those have been put in the field at 93 state parks, 18 interstate welcome centers, and at sites throughout more than 40 river communities. It's also available online as a flip book, 68 pages. That 80,000 copies was what? More than 13 tons. The last 20,000 we're getting out the door this year during our challenge. Moreover, this upcoming guide is going to be even bigger and better. So Jess from our team could not make this call today, but she is project managing this and will do an incredible job writing content. If you are interested in getting an ad in our next edition, which we expect to have at least as many copies and be at least as long, we're trying to do even more and get it throughout West Virginia as well. Currently, it is throughout Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. Here's that form if you'd like to purchase an ad. So we would love to have all of you all represented in there. We do not make money on this. This just helps us pay for more copies. So the more ads we have, the more content we can put in there and the more places where we can put this. So very, very excited. We expect this to hit shelves in events and boat shows and fairs starting around January of 2027. I want to particularly shout out the Kentucky Tourism Arts and Heritage Cabinet, the Indiana Destination Development Corporation, and ODNR for your help with distribution. That statewide distribution would not have been possible without the free support of those 3 entities. So thank you. Awesome. Last thing before Francis, we have dates set for our summit. Join us this September 30th to October 2nd in Ironton, Ohio. Very, very excited for that. You will not see more other than that save the date until after we go through the challenge and spend a week or 2 recuperating. But we're very excited to be in Ironton this year and to swing all our summit up to our Appalachian region. So sweet. I think those are all the updates from our organization. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Francis Kern-Manone. We are just on time to talk through some funding opportunities that are available for our river communities. So Francis, take it away.
All right, I have a new setup, so make sure my sound and camera and all that are working fine. And is my deck up?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, so this organization has come such a long way, and I always say that every time I get an opportunity to say anything about the organization, but good Lord, it's 40 minutes in and we spent a lot of time already talking about funding. And so I think this is awesome. But when Forrest asked me to speak today about current funding sources, I was reminded of a report that I did in 2022 to sort of create a baseline on where funding opportunities are or had been in the region. And so I took a minute, like Forrest just did with we always wanted to have a 360 mapping of the river. And so this is essentially my walk down memory lane from a funding perspective. Let me see if I can get that to advance. Let's see. All right. So I think you should see the corridor has been this was my report back in 2021, 2022. The corridor has been underrepresented. And to be fair, I'm picking at specifically the Land Water Conservation Funds and the RTP funds that were statewide distributed into the states since their inception, and then how much of that, my analysis was how much of that was actually getting into the Ohio River Basin, and benchmarked it based off of how deep it went. In other words, a county deep. If you were a county along the Ohio River or the either in Kentucky, Indiana, or Ohio, then you got included in this listing. And I scraped the data off. I did that all manually. The result was essentially of all the funding that has been spent in those programs, how much of it was actually going into the Ohio River Basin, and it wasn't very much at the time. And since then, the Ohio River Way has been much more active about telling people about funding opportunities. And so we're excited that about the increase in funding that the corridor is seeing, some of which Forrest has already touched on, active already. Headlines since 2021, 2022, and keep in mind we've had a lot of things happening in that time period. But the ACGP awards, and I meant to change that to 142. We had so much going on in Ohio with the ACGP awards. Kentucky at the beginning of this year just changed their land water conservation funding to be a maximum of $250,000 per project to $1 million per project. And that's huge. The READY program in Indiana, which was an ARPA post-pandemic type funding source, had carved out, and I'm trying to be specific to the counties that we represent, knowing that there's a southwestern Indiana aspect of this too that also could contribute. These numbers would go up if we were including the entire state on Ohio and Indiana. And so it's exciting to see the amount of, this is just a sampling of the types of funding sources that have been made available in recent years. I think in part because of the noise we've been making about the Ohio River and things like our guide. One of the things I wanted to highlight next is, transportation alternatives programs. Forrest likes to, I don't know if I'm sharing too much about Forrest's brain here, but he refers to this as his quote, new obsession. So the transportation alternative programs is a great way to these are current sources that are available that have not really been put to work on behalf of the corridor in the way in which we would like to see them activated. So from here forward, what I'm going to do is highlight some resources that are less standard from a corridor standpoint. These are, and a word of caution, Forrest and I were talking about this. State websites are notorious about not including dates in a way that are helpful. So I'm providing what I believe is accurate information. Forrest and I were picking at this morning about when the transportation alternative program deadlines are for Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana for this year. But I would encourage everyone to continually look online or call the point of contact of the state to make sure that that's accurate. Forrest, you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I've been a little obsessed with transportation alternatives funding lately, partially because it's what's funding our bikeway planning work in Ohio. So Ohio's pretty on top of things. We got dates already posted. We know applications are opened at October 1. In Kentucky, they're reworking how they're doing it. It's not online, but they've told me they will be reopening the portal shortly after the General Assembly, which closed last week. So I don't know if it'll still happen, but I would watch for transportation alternatives funding to open at any time. In Indiana, it's administered through their local public agencies program, which last year they put out an announcement about that on September 25th. So I'd watch for that in the fall. These are all the statewide programs. If you are within an MPO, you have two ways to pursue TA funding. You can either go through the MPO, which might have more assistance to offer you, or you can go for the statewide competitive funds. Federally, TA funding that's statewide must be competitive statewide, including within MPOs. So MPOs have two ways to go after this. TA funding requires a 20% match. So we just want to flag this now. Whether if you have a bike or ped project, start thinking about it now and how you can come up with that 20% match to be ready to submit these applications. And to have thought through what you want to do before actually submitting it. If you want to talk about any of these projects, I would love to talk about potential projects and how we could go after this funding. So Anyways, Francis, I'm sorry to get on my
Yeah,
TA
no, and
soapbox. I love TA.
love TA. And also it's great. It would be great to see, since we're activating this for the use of the corridor in Ohio, the same sources are available in Kentucky and Indiana. So if we could repeat what we're doing in Ohio, we can weave together our braided trail in a more comprehensive way. Other underused resources, and these are federal resources that I work with all the time, but other underutilized resources, new market tax credits got made permanent in the tax bill from last summer. And that new market tax credits can be totally tricky, but there are carve outs for rural projects, and there are community development entities that will fund projects that are specifically rural. So it's worth a renewed look. It's going to take a minute for it to get, in my opinion, a little bit more stabilized as the whole nation is responding to the fact that it's now permanent. We were talking about having the CDFI fund having a more regulated announcement period. Part of the problem with that program is the announcement periods were hard to manage if you're in the middle of a project. So we're hoping to see that the schedule is more consistent nationwide. Forrest wanted to highlight ORLIP, Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership, which is land water conservation funds coming through directly through the National Park Service. Thank you to the National Park Service folks that are here with us today. Codified by the Explore Act, but this is a potential funding source that you might want to be looking into on behalf of the projects you've got going on in your own community. We already talked about ARC being a resource. It's very exciting that we are as far as we are with the Ohio River Way right now with ARC. We as an entity are pursuing it, and I'm sure communities know that for the most part, communities are eligible as well. Most of the funding from ARC goes directly to communities, not to organizations that are as regional as we are. So I would encourage you all to continue to consider ARC as a funding resource, realizing, of course, that the ARC sources go through Kentucky to Greenup County, and in Ohio, on the Ohio side, to Claremont County. Next up is, and I want to talk about this specifically because this is a deadline that's happening this year. So one of my areas of focus at FBT right now is the Nationwide Opportunity Zone program that was started in 2017, 2018. And there was no reporting requirements for opportunity zones, but there was 6,500 designated census tracts in the United States that were considered opportunity zones. This year is the summer in which the opportunity zone designations are created by the state governor's offices. And so what's happening right now in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana is the economic development agencies are in the process of determining which eligible census tracts get the designation. There was no reporting requirements in 1.0. One of the changes for the program moving forward is that there's going to be reporting requirements. This is the type of data that is not well known, what's on screen now, about what transpired in the first round of the program. And so Taylor Abbott with ORC and I have been carefully studying the Ohio River Basin in terms of what's eligible. And we have a lot of eligibility for what's considered distressed census tracts in the Ohio River Basin, and we would love to see Ohio River communities paying better attention to the opportunity zone designations. Next up is what's different this time. With the opportunity zone program, we have better benefits in 2.0 for rural projects than there was in 1.0, and so substantial improvement. And I'm going to use some language that may seem a bit foreign, but substantial improvement for projects, for rural projects, only needs to meet 50% substantial improvement versus the 100% substantial improvement you would see in a urban environment or in an urban census tract. So the message here is you should check out whether or not you have an eligible census tract. Most likely you do. You want to get a census tract designation from your state. There's no requirements that if you have a census tract designated that you actually have to use the program. So you may as well have all the tools in your toolbox. this sets the stage for the next 10 years. This is your 1 and 10-year opportunity to take advantage of getting your census tracts designated. The next opportunity to do that won't be until we do another nationwide census count. So July 1 is when the window opens nationwide. The governor's offices are, some of which are in the process of collecting information right now on where those designated census tracts should go. They're due, the governor's offices have to report to Treasury by September 28, 29. I think 29 is a weekend, but 28, 29 is when they submit to Treasury, and by this time next year, we'll know where those designated census tracts are going to be. If anybody has any questions about this, I'm happy to answer it. I just really want to, on behalf of my Ohio River communities, I want to make sure we're all on top of the opportunity that's going to set the stage for this particular program for the next 10 years inside the basin. Who to contact in your state? Let me back up for a second. If you want to check out whether or not you're eligible, go to the last bullet point there has tract availability on the Novogradac website. There are a couple different resources for where you can check whether or not you're eligible, but that's a GIS system similar to what we just saw a minute ago, but it'll tell you which census tracts are eligible. So here's the point of contact in the states. Kentucky is leading right now in this race to get things designated. And Kentucky has their process up. What is not known on their website, and it's not, to my point earlier about state websites not getting updated frequently enough, fair enough. We know through Devin Richardson over in the state of Kentucky that he wants responses back by the end of May 29. So that is a fact that's not well stated on its website, but Kentucky at least has its process up. Indiana and Ohio are in the process of getting their processes up for submission by September. They don't have them up yet. What they're looking for is things like, do you have investor interest? What types of projects are you interested in doing in your communities? And that's where, how well are you suited for the particular program? So last slide is, here's what we should do by the end of this year to keep us moving in the right direction. Nominate your eligible census tract for OZ 2.0 designation. Work on some of those other aspects that I touched on earlier. Build a funding stack for a riverfront priority project. Until we lay plans out, we can't begin to think of the types of resources we're going to use. So it's got to start with number 2. We're so far much further along than we were before, but having a plan in place, knowing where your TAP money, or excuse me, what your transportation alternative project might be ahead of when the announcements are made, makes life so much easier, and we can help with that to the extent that we can. And then this is for Jordan. Call your congressional delegation around the Ohio River Restoration Act. Those are my call to actions for the end here. Any questions? I'm happy to take, but congratulations on how far we've come with the Ohio Riverway on funding sources, and we should be paying attention to the national aspects that we have, or the national programs that we have available to us too.
Well, thank you so much, Francis, for all of your years of leadership at the Ohio Riverway and for all of your insights today. So, sweet. We have 10 minutes till 11. We're done with the agenda. It's now your all's turn. What questions do you have, and what updates do you have from your communities? If no one volunteers, we'll start picking on people.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
On the tool.
Hey, Rick, this is Rick Gryway, former president of the board of the Ohio Riverway and current board member. Go ahead, Rick.
On the tool design contract, how far does that take it? Is it conceptual design? Is it preliminary design?
So it is preliminary. So $275,000 over 182 miles. The main deliverable is going to be an interactive progress map in that Ohio stretch that tracks all of the infrastructure for bicycling and pedestrians, all of the planning for infrastructure for bicycle and pedestrians, and then connects the route with a proposed level of improvement. Go ahead.
With estimated cost?
I believe we are finalizing the scope. It should look like one project per county with estimated cost. That's new from this planning. So
I
this is
guess, Mike,
really
the reason I'm bringing this up is if we could combine this work with what we know are the most attractive recreational assets for tourism along that map, we could combine the trail with, development of hotels and Airbnbs or things that would support this infrastructure of boating and bikes and all the other things we want to put on this braided trail.
Yeah. So let me show something that might help folks understand what this will look like. And there are all sorts of examples of maps of interactive progress maps. Tri-State Trails has some great maps. Rails to Trails Conservancy has the Great American Rail Trail Progress Map. Here's what it looks like on the Louisville Loop. I'm a Louisvillian, so with each one of these segments, it shows you where they're at in the project phase, what's built, what's not built, with a lot more information on each segment. I'm not saying what we're doing will look exactly like this, but think a tool like this that is supposed to guide which projects we want to pursue for implementation funding and that serves as a resource to all our communities. Picture this is one county, but the entire Ohio River. So this we have funding to do this in Ohio. We want to do this in Indiana and Kentucky as well, and the rest of Ohio. I'll pop a link in the chat if anyone is curious about what this looks like on the Louisville Loop. Cool. Anyone else?
Forrest, this is Shelley Funky Fromeyer.
Senator, thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for your leadership on that $200,000 that was received for Cora. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are things in Northern Kentucky?
They are beautiful, lively, and I'm excited about your navigation that you reminded me of coming up in May.
Yes, yes. So very, very excited for that expedition, and hope you're able to join us on the water.
You might imagine that I keep committing to too many things, but the reason that I was super excited to join your call is when we're in the communities and we're trying to help with the priorities or the talking points, and you bring back up funding. Where are we channeling those dollars so that we can pull down federal matches or any match? And forgive me, because I didn't jump in until about the last 15 minutes of the meeting. How are we amplifying the federal match dollars? And then did we do anything statewide that would be matched by local dollars?
Mm-hmm. So, Kentucky has its grants program, which is a great opportunity to help match funding streams like transportation alternatives. So we talked about transportation alternatives earlier, which has it's federal funding administered by the state with a 20% match requirement. Kentucky's great at having funding streams to help cover that. And I think the $200,000 appropriated for Cora could potentially be leveraged into $1 million through transportation alternatives, depending upon what Cora's board chooses to do. Okay. So opportunities are different in Indiana and Ohio, but thank you to the General Assembly for making accessing federal funds accessible for Kentucky communities. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for our Indiana and Ohio partners, the General Assembly in Kentucky has created a fund that is just for matching federal opportunities. And my understanding is that it's more or less first come, first serve in terms of eligibility. Oh, sweet. Senator, is there anything else you'd like to add now that session is over? I know it's been a crazy start to the year for all of our legislators.
One standout from my perspective, this was a budget session. So when we're trying to determine, Mr. Gruey, you ask what I would say is the most relevant question to a state legislator is how can we invest these dollars in maybe a tourism-driven place that would result in more revenues into the general fund? Because candidly, if those revenues come into the general fund, we will get to the income tax cut that we're very eager to promise Kentuckians. I was at an event Sunday with about 19 people from Tennessee, and one of our far western Kentuckians has lived in California and Tennessee, but not back to Kentucky. And she promised when we get our income tax to zero, that she'll come back to Kentucky. So I only say that to acknowledge that your work towards getting people to love Kentucky as much as each one of us do, biking, navigating on, in my favorite, paddleboard or kayak, but recognizing that Kentucky is probably the most exceptional state in the 50 that you could come. I just would love to see us get there from a reputation perspective. We know it. This group on this call, I imagine, knows it, but how do we amplify this to that whole next level? And that was a bit of a pushback. So though I could only get 200,000 for our Cora efforts, I think that we have to just keep showing what sort of return that we've established by more tourism, invite more community stability, if you will, if that's the right word, because we want to attract people here. And what we're finding is if we attract talent, then we're attracting jobs. Sometimes the jobs don't come until the talent comes, or just maintaining the talent.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much.
I don't want to hog anything, but so grateful for the work that you're all doing.
Thank you very much. Well, and as a Kentucky, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, just real quick. I was at the world's only cardboard boat museum, as you all know, in New Richmond, Ohio, last evening, and they were having too much fun. But they're really looking forward to playing host to you when you come downriver and spend some time with us. That's one thing. Liberty Landing, and of course, Mary Allen and Catherine Bailey are the keys on that. But it's on schedule moving forward, and we're looking for a completion date by the end of very, very early in the autumn. But it'll be a real game changer for us. Third thing I want to just share with everybody on board, a little bit of a funny, which wasn't the first part of it's not my funny, but my sister had a heart situation, so she went to a wonderful Christ Hospital in Cincinnati, and the cardiologist said to her, "Where are you from?" And she said, "New Richmond, Ohio." And he said, "I've never heard of it." And she said, "Well, that's a shame." And then he said, "But wait a minute, isn't that little town up the river that has all the cool festivals?" And she said, "That's the right answer." So I think what we're doing at Renaissance in Richmond, working closely with the village and the merchants and the school district and everything else. As you know, we lost 2 coal burning power plants here several years ago, which just decimated the funding that goes into our rural school district. But we're working real hard here, and everything is looking really, really good. And of course, got to plug the Appalachian Festival, which this is the second year in a row it's been in New Richmond. It drew about 25,000 people last year. And when they moved from Hamilton County to Claremont County, of course, they're now in Appalachia for the first time ever, having the Appalachian Festival. So we're just really honored and pleased. And Catherine Bailey, who I think you know, has got a lot of energy. Our village administrator is just doing a Herculean a job for us here. So thanks for all of what you good folks do and offer to us. And I just see all kind of more opportunities to work together. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, Forrest. Mark Jacobs here, Boone County Conservation District. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's good to see you, Mark.
I just wanted to let you all know that as part of our Boone County Ohio River Initiative, we have a couple of town meetings coming up. One tonight from 7 to 9 at Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, and the other one is next Thursday from 7 to 9 at Petersburg, Kentucky. So we'll be discussing just updates from Ohio Riverway for sure, and then talking about some potential projects on the river in those river towns. So anyway, just want to let you know if anybody's interested in coming, we'll be there. Be happy to see you.
Okay,
awesome.
Forrest, this is Jim Bishop from Indiana Trails. Richard, my boss, has a quick question for you.
Good. How are you, Richard?
Hello. You have mentioned hike and bike, particularly about the Ohio Way, but I'm wondering why you don't include the Americans with Disability Act, the ADA, and disability along the way, because we often think of wheelchairs, but if you think of people with disabilities, they cover a range of abilities and a range of disabilities, but I think ADA should be mentioned along with hiking and bicycling. So if you could include ADA with all the discussions with hike and bike.
Absolutely. So, Richard, I'll share that through Congressman Brad Wenstrup, who is no longer in Congress, we submitted a earmark request that was written into the Transportation HUD appropriations bill that would have appropriated $1.7 million for, I forget the total number, but ADA accessible canoe and kayak launches. We have submitted that request again through Senator Moreno's office. I did not include it today because I don't think it will get funded. But at one point, we were in a House Transportation HUD appropriations bill, and if Congress had passed the appropriations bills, it would have been funded. So it's not that we weren't selected; it was that Congress didn't pass the budget that year. So we will keep swinging at projects like that, and I'm so glad you mentioned because we need to keep a focus on making sure the outdoors is accessible to all.
I don't necessarily want it to be attached to necessarily a money bill, but just in policy, in general discussion about the Ohio Way. We mentioned hike and bike, and we all do this, but to include ADA along with that. So, but I'm glad to know that there's been discussions previous to this. So thank you.
Absolutely.
We done? We finished? Okay.
Well, Forrest, good work. It looks like we're finished our agenda here, and as we always do, we'll have our little water cooler chat, correct, for the next 15, 20 minutes. So anybody like to stay on and share information about what they're doing or have questions, we can handle that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And thank you all so very much for joining and all of the updates. It's an honor and a pleasure to work with you all on all these different projects. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Brewster, which cities just got, or which towns just got noted in USA Today again?
Well, yes. Vivi, Indiana, and nearby Madison, Indiana, both were in the USA Today's competition where people had to vote on which are the best small towns in the Midwest. And Vivi, once again, was number one, and Madison was two or three. So the bottom line is, of all the communities in the entire Midwest, two of the top three or so were within 20 miles of each other on the Ohio River. I mean, who would think? So it's just a great affirmation that those river towns are worth visiting and are wonderful small communities. Thanks for asking that.
Brewster, Jim Mallory here. And I get a chat and plug in with you on promoting those towns. I'm not certain whether I'm even speaking or not.
We can hear you.
Oh, all right. I did put in a chat comment a while ago, and I have no idea how many of you get to read chats after a meeting like this. If you're like I am, you rush off to a million other things. But Ron Abrahamson presented a very, very compelling story a while ago. To pat the Lewis and Clark Trust on the back, we were part of that funding that made that happen. And we really see what the work we do is for all people, as we like to say, as part of our mission statement. So use it. We just ask that you give us credit for what we did. We don't want money. Yes, we need money like everybody else. Money is a lubricant for the world. It revolves on money. But use it. I find that it's so interesting after 35 years of working with nonprofits along trails that we tend to reinvent the wheel, quote unquote, once again. There's information out there, use it. It's for you. And that's the reason Lewis and Clark Trust is structured the way it is. I will remind you that one of the strongest bills that Congress has ever written is the 1968 Trail Act. Section 2C specifically refers to volunteers. I see a tremendous number of volunteers on this call this morning. Volunteers can make things happen. We just have to be quietly forceful in what we're doing. So thanks to all of you for your volunteer work. But go back and use Ron Abraham's work. We support it. We just hope you'll find support somewhere to get the same thing and the Ohio, Indiana, Illinois side of the river. We only provided the Kentucky, West Virginia side because that's where the state line is, and we were restricted to what we were doing there. Thanks for your time and listening to me chat this morning. Take care for us.
Thank you so much, Jim. We're so grateful for all that you all did to make that mapping possible and for sharing that resource with us. We're very proud that we got the Lewis and Clark logo in there, and if we need the trust logo in there as well, if that's more appropriate, we would love to add it to the map.
Go ahead and add that logo. We don't fight publicity anytime we can find it out there.
Perfect. Okay, I'll tell Ryan.
And Ryan was certainly true on one thing. Anything like that mapping is a work in progress. Businesses change, rivers change. It's a continual update. There's not something we're going to do and say, okay, it's etched in stone. Brewster knows better than anybody else on this call how the river changes over time. And so we see continual change in anything like this we do, especially the biking side of it. The gentleman speaking about disability there, I totally agree with him. At my age, I don't walk as far as I used to, and I sure as hell can't ride a bicycle. It's dangerous for me, probably anybody else I would meet. So consider disabilities out there, just walking or whatever. Stumbling on sidewalks can create a problem out there. We're not all as young as Brewster is, so have a good time. I got it right. I got another.
Thank you, Jim. Take care, buddy.
See you, Jim.
Hi, this is Linda from Higginsport.
Linda, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you guys?
Wonderful. It's so good to hear your voice.
Looking forward to seeing you on the challenge.
Oh, unfortunately, Brewster, I will be in California for my niece's wedding, but I know the mayor and Cindy Brown will be very happy to welcome you all and show you the Slim Salee Riverfront redevelopment we have going on. It is coming along beautiful. Everything's been excavated. We're getting ready to, all the concrete work's been done, but they're getting ready to start on the stage structure, the overlook, get the bathroom up, but the walking path is already in. We've been working with the dock people, getting ready to get that up and running. They're getting ready to start the landscaping soon. So we are super excited. And not only that, but the residents in the village are excited. We have a new deli that just opened up in Higginsport. It's called Get It To Go. It's actually on State Route 52, the Ohio Scenic River Byway, and it's right at the intersection of State Route 52 and State Route 221, right by RVs R Us. So we're super excited, and I'm just sorry I'm going to miss you guys in May.
Well, just leave the door unopened, and we'll all sleep there, okay? Just joking. Okay.
Perfect. Well,
Hey,
thank you.
I see that former First Lady of Ohio, Hope Taft, is on the call. Hope, I didn't see you until just now. Are you still with us? I guess she may have just jumped off. Okay. Well, anyway, Hope has been an amazing champion on promoting and helping to clean up the Little Miami River, which is an amazing asset for all of us. But go ahead. Anybody else have any feedback or suggestions or comments here? Those who
Claire,
are
how was the event yesterday? I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
Was that for Claire?
Yes.
Yeah.
Both Brewster and Molly were there. So thank you both for being there. And thank you, Molly, for asking a question. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Claire Carlson, and I am the Green Space Alliance Manager for Green Umbrella, an organization out of Cincinnati, but we do work in Kentucky and Indiana. And we had our first candidate forum yesterday for county commissioners on economic development and green space preservation. So obviously that ties into a lot of what we're talking about here. And it turned out well. We had a good number of people there, 2 different reporters and 6 candidates. So considering that was our first go at doing a forum in Kentucky, I'm not too mad about it. So thanks for checking in for us.
Hey,
And
Claire,
also, thank you.
you were on
Go
the
ahead.
NPR affiliate WVXU this morning.
Oh, really?
There was a story about it, so good job.
Beautiful. Thanks, Brewster.
Sweet.
Hey, Forrest, I see that, and maybe it's just his AI deal, but Doug McDonald, who's playing a key role with the Appalachian Community Grant Program projects along the Ohio, may be on the call. Doug, are you still on the call? Maybe not. So anyway, he's coordinating with all those communities, the details about those projects that Linda just mentioned for Higginsport.
Yeah.
I see that Kendall's on, and Kendall will be coming your way, coming down a rising sun. So thank you. We'll see you shortly. Anybody else here? Hey, Dave, maybe we'll see you in Huntington. What do you think?
Absolutely. Dave, we would love to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, I was just wondering, maybe we need to discuss this off the call, but just wondering what all we need to do. What can we do to help you guys, at the launch and all of that? So,
Well, Dave, we've yet to Molly, have we finalized a restaurant in Huntington yet?
We have not finalized a restaurant.
So
okay.
Dave, if you know a great place to eat on Sunday at 6 p.m. on May 10th.
Sunday at 6 p.m. Okay.
Yeah, we're actually paying.
Okay.
Hey, we'll
okay.
take free too. So, either way, we're happy.
We'd love to have you be our guest.
Right on. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me see what the best thing is that's open then. And
I think
we might be able to get I'll check in on that.
Tyson sent us over a list, but quite a few of the places were closed on a Sunday evening. I think Calamity was open, but I've never been there before.
Yeah, that's okay, but probably a lot of our best restaurants, some of them have brunch on Sundays, but we might be able to get one of them we get a couple that's right off the river at Pullman Square.
Okay.
Might be able to get one of them to stay open later. How many people will you guys have?
Maybe 30, 25 to 30.
Okay.
We want to invite as many people in Huntington as we can because it's our first thing ever in Huntington.
Right. I know. I'm really excited. You guys have been balling to get you guys down here, so it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we're stoked to be there.
Excellent. And then what else do you guys need support wise? I mean, you could send me a list if there's anything. I mean, I'm on the CVB board, so
I think we're good. I mean, so
okay.
We should talk about how to get press there. We depart on the 11th at sometime between 6:30 and 7 a.m.
Okay.
I imagine that might be too early to get press out there. So if we want to do something in Huntington the day before, that Sunday, or we're planning a press event in Ashland around 9 a.m. and then Ironton around 10 a.m.
On that Monday, right?
On that Monday, yeah.
But they could do a live remote there from Huntington as we start this 488-mile paddle, which is more than the distance from Key West to Jacksonville.
I
just drove.
That's a great stat, Brewster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
because I know I was in the media here forever. So
sweet.
I did radio, TV, and I was at the newspaper for 19 years. So and then I was at the NBC affiliate, and it was on radio iHeart, and then the local radio too. So I'm in contact with all those unusual suspects. So we can round them up for you. Like if you give us some kind of options, and if you guys have sort of a basic press release, I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and try to lock some of that in. We could probably do a press event.
I will email you the options and the release, and as soon as we hop off.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And then if there's any other logistic stuff, and you guys leaving from Harris Riverfront Park, or is that
Virginia Point Park?
Oh, from Virginia Point. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. The three states, man. That's way cool. Okay.
We're gonna camp there, so we'll put the canoes in on that Sunday.
Okay.
We could do a little paddle around, but that's just launching them, and then we actually embark the next morning. So
excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, and we'll camp there. So we're stoked.
Oh man, if you guys are already gonna be down in Cerrito, let me check in with Rocco. We have one of our old school Italian restaurants is open on Sundays, and they have a really cool part of their restaurant. They have because they always have overflow. They have this cool little It's sort of like a little jazz club that's like 2 doors down from their restaurant that they use for special events. So we might be able to just do like a big feed down there. You know what I mean? So
Is that in
when we,
walking distance from where we're going to camp?
it's we'd have to like shuttle you guys, but it's like, I mean, you could walk it. It's like it's probably a mile.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that offline, but that's great, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's pretty close. You know what I mean? And it's a really good restaurant, you know.
Cool.
But you may
Whatever
be able
you
to get
think's
a bunch of lasagnas and that kind of stuff, you know.
Good.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
So we're stoked either way.
yeah, I see we have Sarah still and Emily and Catfish. Would you guys like to share anything?
Well, I just am encouraging of what's happening with the river and valuing it and being outside and being active.
Well,
I'm
thank
a
you.
senior citizen. I'm 82 and I still canoe and bicycle. So everybody needs to get out and get active and appreciate our planet.
Hey, Emily, where are you located?
Louisville, Kentucky, in the Clifton district, Clifton neighborhood, where the Kentucky School for the Blind is. We're the second largest visually impaired community in the United States.
Wow.
So,
Emily, are you a friend of John's?
John who?
John Nation. I think he's your neighbor. He lives in Crescent Hill.
Oh, yeah, I know John Nation. Yeah, thank you, John, for all that John does. He's a real cheerleader for it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Emily. And I love your passion for being outdoors. That's great. Wow.
Thank you. Bye.
Sarah, Catfish, anything you'd like to share before we end?
Sure. We're moving forward with our Artist Adrift paddle, which will be coming up July 26th through 29th. We'll have more information on it, but it's with River City Paddle Sports and Ohio River Way. And we'll be taking about 7 artists from Madison to Louisville. We'll camp at Payne Hollow, 18 Mile Island. We've talked about doing some like social media takeover. When I say artists, these will be 7 pretty much nationally touring musicians that are all from our region. So kind of the idea behind it is to show the artists the river, and then in turn use their kind of social media followings to help us promote Ohio River Way. So this is like the first trial. Pretty sure Dave Lavender is going to be joining us. I think Payne Hollows is one of his bucket list items. And we got some other great musicians, the local Honeys, Brother Smith, Casey
You got the
Campbell.
local Honeys?
We got the local Honeys are going to be on it.
Oh my gosh.
And I went,
Okay.
all these musicians are so excited. Like a gig's just a gig to a musician. They don't get that excited over them anymore, but they are all ecstatic about this trip.
Wow.
Which is pretty awesome. So
Catfish, I'm so glad you've mentioned this. I know my head is in 50 million directions before the challenge, but let's there's more we need to do to raise the profile of this once we get through the chaos of the challenge.
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. And I think once I because I'll be doing the Cincy Louisville section,
Yeah.
I'll be able to explain more of the artists too, because I'll have a better
Perfect.
idea. And then one other quick note, we did have at Carriage House Farm, Lost Bridge last night, we had a farm to table dinner with Oxbow Conservancy. And I brought up the Ohio River Way farm to table dinner, kind of possibly working with different farms and ranches all along the way to supply the dinner. So I would love to get the ball rolling on that, maybe this fall or something like that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah, we need to do something like that.
And that would be a fundraiser for Ohio River Way. So any tickets sold, all proceeds go to Ohio River Way.
Thank you.
Yep.
Very
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And hi, so I'm Sarah Thompson, Mayor of Ludlow, Kentucky. This is the first time I've joined the call. Catfish encouraged me to join, and this is all amazing information. I'm taking notes. Would love to meet and have more conversations about what we can do in Ludlow. Catfish has been catching me up on everything that the Ohio Riverway Coalition has been doing, and it's amazing. I'm so excited to hear all this information. We actually just completed a small river cleanup on Sunday with Catfish. And so that was actually a great, I mean, we had a great amount that we cleaned up with a small group of people, but it's such a great community engagement that we pulled together, and it's just fun to do. But it also it's just a great feeling to know that you're cleaning up the river in your river town. Um, and but also I think that Catfish, you had mentioned that I could potentially maybe jump on and at some point the Covington Cincinnati along the way and see, maybe jump on the route kayak at some point with you, jump on the river potentially. I would love to do that. Could you tell me more about that or what we discussed, Catfish?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
We'd
Bart.
love to have you on the challenge.
Okay.
Sarah, we can follow up with some additional information on what that would look like. We will pass. Forgive me. What county is Ludlow in?
It's in Boone
Kenton.
County, and it's just
So
downstream from Covington, where we'll have the event at 9 o'clock on.
Okay.
Is it Monday the 18th, Forrest?
Monday the
Okay.
18th.
Monday the
Yeah.
18th.
So
9 o'clock, and we'd love to we want to invite all the Northern Kentucky mayors as well as other elected officials, as well as those from the other side of the
Yeah.
river, and have a sort of regional unity of celebration. We'll do a ribbon cutting, and we'd love to have you there. We can put you in the boat and drop you off at your house.
Amazing.
yes.
Love it.
So Sarah, I've made a note to email you and talk through what our schedule looks like that day and where we could pick you up or drop you off. And that is the 18th. We will end our day in Petersburg, where we will have dinner at the 3rd Street Cafe around 6 p.m. So
That's amazing.
it's going to be a fun day.
Yeah.
Thank you
Sweet.
so much for joining us. Great.
Awesome.
All right, well, Forrest, anything else there?
Well, as you can tell, there's not much going on. So maybe we'll have more to talk about at the next meeting.
Forrest, I just would like to mention Indiana Trails is really appreciative of your endorsement letter for our endeavors to link Charlestown State Park in southern Indiana to the Falls of Ohio State Park with a side path. And we are trying to look with trail connections to that whole area. So we really appreciate everything you've done, and we appreciate the letter very much. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. And I don't know if you're following, but on the Kentucky side, there is currently a major study being done by KYTC about reconnecting the Portland community to the waterfront. So nearby, and exciting that they're doing that. Awesome. Well, I think that is all. I hope you all managed to get outside this weekend while things are beautiful. And we will regroup in a quarter, few months after the challenge. So
thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Take
Thank
care.
you.